Hey everybody, my name is Dominic Murin, and this is the Humblefactory. The Humblefactory is my basement shop. I'm calling it that because I am trying to explore what it means to do Humblefacture. I run a blog called Humblefactory.com. You can check it out. There's a link in the description of this file. I also run a site called Humblefactory, which it's at Humblefactory.com, and that actually shows all the work that I'm doing here. And what is that work? Well, I'm interested in really pushing manufacturing into a new place where it can be more humble. It can be more assenting to the kinds of demands that we want it to do. So, for example, problems like, environmental degradation or resource overconsumption or social problems with manufacturing like child labor or people losing their jobs working in large factories and then whole communities get wiped out. All of these things are sort of systemically related to manufacture, and they're systemically related to manufacture because of the way we do it, not because you can just make things in the US and it makes it okay, or because you can just make things out of bamboo and it makes it okay. The problems are deeper than that, and so we need to really re-examine how do we make manufacturing work. Some of the ways that I think we can do it and make it more accessible and more legible to normal people, people who are buying stuff, and also, again, really take the desires of the people who are buying objects into account, is to make it more open, more locally available, so you can actually see who made your thing and how they made your thing, and then also make it using more flexible, smaller scale infrastructure. And all of those things are kind of tied together. But the reason that you need it to be smaller scale and more local is so that, one, you can manufacture things in cities so that more and more people are living in cities around the world. You need to be able to have manufactories close to the people that are doing the using of those products, not only because you save money in shipping and that sort of thing, and you save carbon in shipping and that sort of thing, but you also get to have the kind of feedback that makes things like child labor for the production of clothes or shoes or that sort of thing, makes those things happen. Because if it's far away, not in my backyard, then it's okay, right? But if it's in your backyard, you want it to stop. And so, if we can figure out new technologies that allow us to have the same kinds of functional greatness, right, but allow them to be done in, like my basement, my basement shop here in Seattle, that would be amazing. That would completely revolutionize design. It would completely revolutionize manufacturing. It would completely change our relationship with built objects. So that's what Humblefactory is about, and that's what the Humblefactory is about. And this video stream is going to contain a lot of videos discussing, new techniques that I'm doing that you can do yourself to try to make stuff happen. I'm going to be playing around with some different tools that are sort of relatively accessible tools. I'll take you on a short tour. I have a number of sewing machines. I love sewing machines. Sewing machines let you take really simple things like thread and cloth and make really complex things like garments or tents or even architecture. I'm going to show some examples of using fabric molds to make cast concrete or cast tricky things. We'll see that in a little bit. I have a really gigantous sewing machine, which I'm excited to play with, and it's also more on that in a little bit, but it can sew really complex things. I've got a video where I talk about some of these materials that I harvested from our backyard, and I've also got a MakerBot. So it's not just about low tech, right? It's not just about old school, it's also about new school, but small scale. It's all about
getting it down to a scale that's on a human scale, right? So that you and I can relate to what it takes to make something. Not something like aluminum where it takes literally an entire city of factories to make the aluminum that went into, say, you know, that my bike over there, right? That is just so much energy. It's beyond the scope of most people's understanding. It's beyond the scope of most people's stuff. So more about that in later videos. So stay tuned. There's going to be lots more interesting stuff. I'm excited to share with you some ideas about the future of manufacturing and to get your feedback and to hopefully see some of these projects get made by some of you. So this is Dominic Murin signing off for the Humble Factory from Seattle, Washington.